It's not that quick in the financial services area. I mean, I probably worked at it, um, I'd say 3 to 4 years probably to get it up there.
Okay. And was it leveraged in a sense? Well, was it residual, or was it?
Well, at one time, in the financial services area, there was residual, but as time has gone on through that industry, it has taken away the residual, unless you're doing securities, and then you get paid, monthly fees on the business. But most of the businesses doesn't have any type of residual anymore.
Okay.
And if it does, it's very little.
Okay. So when you stopped, if you stopped working, the money immediately went away?
No, not right away.
Okay. How long would it take for it to dissipate? Let's say back to, low levels.
Probably 18 months.
Okay. Okay. So just to, this is good. Michael has made this kind of money before, and that significantly boosts his belief. This is important. If he had set a goal of $100,000 a month, the most he ever made was $10,000 a month. Again, I don't ever want to dictate what the lid is, but that can be extremely challenging for someone to have the belief that they haven't done it. Since he's made this kind of money before, it's not a stretch. It's not a big leap. How long ago was this, by the way, that you did that?
I did that probably, let's see, probably way back in 2002 or 3, something like that. And then it continued for, pretty good period of time. And the only time that there was big downward trends sometimes is when we've had, like in 2003, we did have, problems with the stock market at that time. It was the bubble on the
.com, yeah.
The .com net, yeah, bust. And then we had the one in 2008 and 9, and then the one we've had recently. But it's been up there pretty consistently, in that arena. I've also made more than that. I mean, there's been some years where, it went up maybe to, 200,000-300,000 for the year. So
right. Okay, good. So what was the process of the business, or of recruitment? What was the process? Did you get leads handed to you? Did you have to go drum up the contacts initially yourself?
Have to go drum up the contact. Everything you have to do by yourself. I mean, you'll get, some assistance, but as far as having to drum up, whether it's business or whether it's recruits, depending on, every company's different, but sometimes you would get ideas, or you'd get certain things that you could use to send stuff out to get recruits, or to get sales. And sometimes for sales, we do seminars. Sometimes it would be just, sometimes it'd be radio ads, or it'd be, sometimes we just send out mailers. A lot of times, what you would have to do is, and all of that would work hand in hand, whether it be for sales or for recruiting. You just kind of change the message and the messaging. So a lot of times, if I was going to recruit advisors, or what I would have to do is maybe get a list, or you'd basically word of mouth would be another good source. Yeah.
So there's a lot of parallels, in the sense that there was a lot of uncertainty, right? Like it's not a job where you just show up and you're guaranteed a result. Like you have to trust a process, and there's no guarantee in exactly when the returns are going to come. But if you do the
No.
work and you plant the seeds, then you got the crops.
Yeah, in fact, most of the time, that's exactly what I used to call it all the time. You have to go and plant the seeds. When I was talking to my agents or advisors, I'd say, look, if you're not calling, if you're not sending out emails, if you're not sending out flyers, if you're not sending out stuff for people to come and visit with you, whether it be in the form of a workshop where you're trying to just show people different avenues as to how to save money, how to plan for retirement, how to take care of this as far as estates and trust, and if you make it on an educational basis instead of always trying to just ram product. I've always been a believer of that. If you educate your consumer, if you educate your field force, as we called it, they're going to become better because of the training. And the only way that it'll happen first is you got to get somebody that's going to be coachable and want to take the coaching, and not think that they, have a better way of doing it. I mean, if you don't want to always go in there and have somebody that wants to reinvent the wheel every single time. I mean, if something's already there, and this is what really attracted me to you, you have a system, you have procedures, you have things in place to where if they're followed, success should happen. I mean, it should. I mean, if it's being followed. I mean, it may not be quick. I mean, I had a lot of agents sometimes that wanted everything fast.
Right.
And life isn't that way. I mean, it just depends on, what territory you're in, who you're contacting, but a lot of times people that you've contacted in the past in our industry, all of a sudden, I mean, just today I had a call from a person that I had done business with 25 years ago. They kept my card and they called. I mean, that's a long time for somebody to keep a card.
Right.
So it happens.
So this is really interesting because, and this is why this process is so important. Did you guys notice how, as Michael continued talking about that experience he had in that profession with that line of work, something kind of shifted there, and all of a sudden he was speaking extraordinarily fluently and confidently, and it just kind of draws you in because he's so experienced in it and has so much experience with it. So Michael, I couldn't help but notice that, and it leads me to want to make the suggestion that we incorporate. This is where you're going to move faster. You guys don't all have to do this, but when you have an advantage like that, first of all, let me just back up and say, because of all of that, my confidence that Michael can aim very high here, my confidence is very high because he has that kind of experience. He's already made this kind of money before or more. That's his goal. He's already done the kind of work that requires like the mindset of a farmer and not an employee, but somebody who's planting seeds, understands they're not all going to sprout, understands that there might be bad weather. There's all kinds of things that come up, but if you follow the process, the harvest will come. It's a different kind of mindset. He's already developed that and realized success within that framework. So because of these reasons, I'm completely 100% confident he could aim very, very high in shorter time frames than a lot of people could. But he's already done all of those things. Now, that doesn't mean, just speaking to everybody here, doesn't mean if you don't have the experience and you've never operated in that mindset, it doesn't mean you can't do that. It's all mindset stuff. It's all belief stuff. But I'm confident he has already cultivated that belief, and it would be easy for him to hold that belief now and see the process through. So that's all very good. And I was going to say, Michael, what I was getting at, to incorporate you into the messaging is going, if you choose to do that, is going to speed up this process because you have that experience. That's going to allow you to attract out professionals or people who that you're going to enjoy working with, people that are going to resonate and connect with your experience, your story. And so that's something we're definitely going to want to pursue. But, you know, with your permission, I mean, again, not something, you know, it's just going to speed things up. Is that
Well,
something that you're open to, like getting on video and doing webinars with me? And, you know, when we're contacting your prospects, instead of,
I
go
would
ahead.
have no problem with that. In fact, I would welcome it tremendously. I think that it works. It
Yeah.
works. So yeah, I would definitely be open for that. Yeah, absolutely.
And that obviously speeds it up, guys. Again, those of you who don't have the confidence yet to do that, understand you can grow into that. And in the meantime, you can leverage me 100%. It's just, this just speeds things up massively, because when I'm off doing something else, he's building relationships with his video that we worked on together, or the webinar we did together is out there connecting with his prospects. And they see that, oh, they get to work with Michael and they get to work with me. It just speeds everything up. So we'll definitely pursue that, Michael. That's going to be part of your action plan. You know, for example, we'll get into that in a minute. Let's look at a little bit more here. So what I did there, guys, and I'll do that with each of you, is we need to find out if you believe you can accomplish what you're setting out to do. And if not, we have to work on that. We don't have to work on that with Michael because he's there. You know, everyone, I think, can tell that. He just needs to apply he just needs my support in applying everything he's done before into this particular system. And that's not a leap. If we did have that leap, just for those of you that don't have experience making a lot of money, don't have experience, you know, applying belief, I just want to be really, really clear. We can build a bridge. We just don't even need to build a bridge here. Okay, so I enrolled at the end of December. I am executive. I have 97 pre-enrollees, you know, 3 affiliate signups. So depending on how so just let me comment on this. So, I mean, 97 pre-enrollees, obviously, over that period of time is very low for, you know, the income goal that you have.
Right.
So that's what we need to work on. How did you get pre-enrollees so far? I guess that's the next question, isn't it? You've used solo ads and MLGS.
Yes, and I will say this, that what ended up happening at the very beginning, even though I enrolled in 2019, and what I did is I did what you said. I, you know, put myself out there and I started at executive level. But what ended up happening is, because I'm new to network marketing and affiliate marketing and this whole process, I really got myself jammed up, and it took me a while to set up my funnel system and get my professional my professional email, I guess, address, which is michael@michaeltrujillo.com. And I had to set up everything through GoDaddy, and then I did everything through Kartra, and I followed Robin through all the training. But because I'm new to this stuff, it took me a little while to get things set up for Kartra, and to set up stuff with Udemy and you know, do the solo ads. And when I did do the solo ads, it works, and this is where I got the enrollees and everything else. And then all of a sudden, Kartra did what they did, and they totally threw me for a loop. And then I had a bunch of other stuff that kind of came in after that with my financial services stuff. So it kind of things got a little convoluted there for a little bit, and I lost focus. I mean, I'll just be honest. I just lost focus, then trying to get back in it again.
Right, and that's what this is all about, is setting up an action plan and then working together to make sure that that doesn't happen, because obviously we need to keep the consistency. We need to keep the momentum. Now, in your case, my recommendation is going to be the new lead source, starting out with the new lead source that we're launching Sunday. Those are the same leads that I'm going to be using. They'll be much higher quality leads than the solo ads. For those listening, that's for level 2s and 3s, which Michael is. He's executive. But what I was going to say is, in your case, the action plan should probably include testing and targeting leads in the financial services industry, because you're going to connect with that audience really well. Like, even the way your manner of speech reminds me of Robert Kiyosaki, which is interesting. You know, which is a huge advantage, because he
That's
has
a big,
has
that's
a
a huge
huge,
compliment.
yeah, absolutely. He's a great communicator, and but you actually have kind of his style of speech for whatever reason, and I think that's a huge, just extra little advantage if we were to target some marketing to Robert Kiyosaki's audience. Uh, and that's where I can help you guys. You know, not everybody's gonna, you know, that's a unique little niche. You guys are all gonna have unique little things that you can do that we'll discover. This one just jumps out at me right away as we move forward with your action plan to find your unique advantages. Again, still all duplicating the same process being get pre-enrollees, inform the pre-enrollees, and you know, and introduce them to the system, and then those who enroll, plugging them in to the same process. You know, that's what we're duplicating. But how we duplicate that, I'm a strong believer. I know there's differing beliefs out there, but I'm a strong believer that we look at whatever your situation is and we maximize your advantages or your whatever your particular circumstances are, and duplicate those three things: get pre-enrollees, inform those pre-enrollees and build a relationship, and then those who enroll, helping them do the same. We're duplicating that, but in a way that would be maybe unique to you, such as what we're talking about here with Michael, or those of you who might be, let's say, completely broke right now, but you have a lot of passion. We design a plan that allows for you to win, that wouldn't involve purchasing leads and advertising. So I'm a big believer in that, as opposed to everyone doing the exact same thing. If everyone's doing the exact same thing, I wouldn't be here, you know, because I bring a unique skill set to this that allows me to participate in a way that allows me to optimize my strengths. So I don't believe everyone should do the exact same thing. I believe we should duplicate the same things, but in a way that allows us to maximize our strengths or our unique circumstances. And in that case, would that be something you're interested in, Michael? Us playing around a little? We won't start there, but as we go forward, start to test targeting Robert Kiyosaki's audience and related audiences, so that, again, you're able to kind of connect and relate to the prospects coming in, which is always a big advantage.
Oh, I'd be definitely open to that. Absolutely.
I think that'd be a big advantage. So, okay, so number 5, I don't know what else to do in order to get growth on my weak leg. So, I mean, that's what we're talking about there. I'm very serious about growing my 2 legs. I'm seeking your help and expertise to help me achieve. Okay, cool. So number 6, I will use all of the free marketing that you can teach me, plus I can bankroll an advertising budget from $500 to $1,000 a month. So, you know, if you're doing $1,000 a month, you'll need to still be very, very proactive. Like in my world, that's a low ad budget. So I want everyone to, you know, don't be scared. Everyone else who doesn't have even close to $1,000 ad budget, let's be really clear. Most people in this company who are making insane amounts of money did it with free methods. And no, they didn't all have to go to friends and family and do crazy methods that nobody wants to do. A lot of them did like really duplicatable methods. Now, you might not think of them as duplicatable yet, because again, you might be in a fear-based mentality. And if I connect with one of you today and I find that you're in a fear-based mentality and that every path available to you to succeed, you put the block on, then we have to have a conversation, right? Like, do you want to live an average, ordinary life, or do you want to live an extraordinary life? Like, that's a decision that you make. But just understand, you don't need money in order to, you know, advertising budget in order to build a huge business here. There are a number of methods that are free, and so there's a path available to everybody. But of course, my skill set is the advertising and the marketing. So those that do have an ad budget, you can either max it out, you know, like build completely that way, or you can supplement. You can do some of the free methods and then supplement with advertising. Now, you're kind of in between those two worlds. In other words, you have a high ad budget. I would say you're on the higher end at $1,000 a month. You're at a higher end of the ad budget, but you're even at that, even at $1,000 a month, Michael, I would be recommending. I mean, because your goals, you know, you want to accomplish a lot in a short period of time. And I know you're not married to the idea of getting to 10,000 a month by the end of the year, but you're seeing how fast I grew, and you have the experience, and so you want to set a lofty goal, which I think is a smart way of going about it with your experience. But my point is, at let's look at the $1,000 a month. Even that is on the low end if that's all you're doing. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
First, and guys, this is, I think, helpful to everybody who wants to supplement their marketing with advertising, even those of you who might just have $100 a month, who will be doing some advertising and also be doing other stuff. Again, $1,000 a month's on the higher end, but it's not enough where you can just get tons and tons of leads coming and it's like easy and automated, kind of like I set myself up to be. You know, I'm spending a minimum of $3,000 a month on an ad budget. Now you make money back, you know, let's be clear. It's not all out because people enroll and you get those jumpstart bonuses, but it's often, you know, not enough to cover it immediately. So you don't want to be stressed out and, like, you know, in an anxiety situation, you know, spending that kind of money. And I know most people can't spend that kind of money, and most of you do not need to grow as fast as me. So keep all that in perspective. And again, remember, as we talk about this, there are free methods, and most people in the company are making the big money did free methods. So just realize there's a different strategy for everybody depending on your circumstances that we'll identify and optimize. Since Michael can do up to $1,000 a month, we'll speak to that. And I just want to again reinforce, $1,000 a month is on the higher end for sure, and is going to be a nice stream of leads. But Michael will need to be proactive, more proactive than he would obviously if he was spending more. But it is plenty enough. What I mean by proactive, it's all reasonable stuff and stuff, Michael, I'm sure that's, you know, with your experience, like you'd be like, of course. It's things like, you know, I put out a video the other day saying, when you get your leads, look for them on social media. Like, don't just rely on the emails. If you want to optimize the leads and you want to speed things up and you want to get the most out of those leads, I haven't had time to do it because I just spend more money to get leads, but not everybody's, you know, earned that position yet. I didn't start there, guys. Remember that. I didn't start there. And so if you're not able to spend $3,000 to $5,000 a month on leads, then you need to really work those leads, which I used to have to do too. And that means going on Facebook and typing in their name and their phone number if they left it, and seeing it, you know, if they come up, and if they do, then reaching out to them there. I mean, these kinds of things, they take more time, but it significantly speeds up the process of building a relationship and having them pay attention to your emails. Michael, does that make total sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, so I think a lot of people in our group were spending like, you know, $300 a month on leads, on solo ads, and they weren't doing those extra things because it just didn't come to mind and they didn't hear me mention it. I didn't emphasize it enough. Like, when we say unstoppable, guys, we mean like you got to be like water. Like, you know, water's going down and it fills up every little crack and crevice, right? Like the water just keeps going. It just keeps filling in the space. And it flows. Like, it's not like it's hard. It's just like it's automatic. Like, I'm constantly looking for what can I do with my situation to maximize and optimize. And it's constant. It's a little bit creative. And we keep sharing those things, and those are things you learn, but that's just one of them. You need to, if you have a small ad budget, you absolutely should be searching for your leads and reaching out to them on social media. And studying from Aaron Parker, studying from Aaron Rashkin, studying from Robert Hollis, and studying from me. And I name those people for those of you that are in my organization, because those are our upline. You have other upline. You're studying how to improve, creating curiosity so people respond. Because a lot of you are like, well, people aren't responding. Well, try something else. try a different subject line. And again, I'm sharing with you everything I'm doing, but I've got more leverage because I'm spending more money on ads. If I had only $300 a month, I'd be trying and testing everything. And if I was contacting them on social media and they're not responding back, I'd be studying what Aaron Rashkin says to send on Facebook Messenger, what Aaron Parker says to send on and I'd be testing those things. And what happens, guys, is you will always find the process. You will always find the thing that always gets a high response. Not everybody, but a lot of people will consistently respond if you know how to get curiosity, but it's a process. But it's inevitable. It's absolutely inevitable that you would find what you send to get most people, or a large percentage of them, saying, oh, hey, yeah, I saw your emails, but you have to use curiosity, and you have the upline leadership to figure that stuff out, but you have to engage with that process. I hope that just makes sense. Now, I'm going to be working with you guys on this stuff. So like Michael, in your case, we'll be doing that together, and I'll be touching base and asking, are they responding back? And if not, here's what we can do. But guys, don't leave all of the work on me to tell you exactly what to do for every situation and every scenario. If you want to speed it up, that's if you're on the 5-year plan, sure, just do exactly what I say and be robotic about it. But that's the 5-year plan. If you want to speed this up, then you need to, Aaron Parker, in our case, Aaron Rashkin, are giving you stuff that you can send on Messenger. Incorporate that into what I'm sharing with you and try different things. And you're going to find the result, the response back. So that's one thing. The other thing, to speed it up with like a $500 to $1,000 budget, I would be encouraging Michael to do like YouTube videos where, and I can work with you on these, and others can learn from that too. But things that will increase the leads that you're bringing in, them seeing you in a leadership role too. So they see that they have me and they have you. That way, while I'm busy doing something, you've got a prospect watching one of your videos. They've already watched some of mine, and they see that they're getting it. And here's why that's important. They're getting an email from you with your name at the bottom of it. And if some of your emails are linking into a video you created, they know they've got me and my support. Now they see that they've got you and your support. They see that you're the one emailing them. And now they're much more prone to reach out to you with a question. Because they see that you're the one that's been in contact with them. And so it just significantly increases, again, this isn't something you have to do, but it significantly increases the speed at which prospects are responding, which creates momentum, which has a compounding effect, because as one person additionally signs up that otherwise wouldn't have yet, now 2 more see that and they now sign up. It just creates this massive increase in growth. So that's the other thing. So Michael, my question to you, is that something you feel comfortable, starting to do, is like videos where you're talking about maybe a little bit of your experience, I'd be helping you, but a little bit of your experience in the past in the financial services industry, and maybe some of the advantages that you're seeing in this industry, as you're inviting them to take a serious look, like something like that.
Absolutely. I'd be more, I can do that with no problem.
Okay, so
I would like to do it.
So because Michael, you hear how Michael's responding, like he's in the stream of abundance. Do you guys see that? And so that's why like everything's lining up. Now, if Michael had said to me, no, I'm not quite ready for that, that would be okay. But then I would have responded by saying, okay, we need to push this goal further out. Things are going to take longer. They're still going to happen. If he didn't do videos, he didn't have to do videos. There's lots of people that don't do videos that are successful, leveraging other videos and upline. It's just a slower process. The cool thing is there's still a path for them too, for those of you that aren't ready to do that. But because he's so in flow, you can just tell with the process that manifests success, like, yeah, everything's just firing on all cylinders with this goal and this early action plan. So, he doesn't have experience in online marketing or network marketing, but because he has the experience with, as we talked about before, connecting with people, getting paid in such a way that it's unclear what he's going to make and produce exactly, but he puts forth the effort, he plants seeds, and he got the big reward. And those are the highest paying positions that do that pay you in such a way, which is what this is as well. The only other thing I'll say, and I know, Michael, you know this, but I want to really underscore it, what you did before is a less advantageous, payment model than where you're at now. What we're doing, it truly is a residual, so that once you get it in momentum, like it's not going to dissipate in 18 months. You'll see this income for years and years and years, that walkaway income. And that's something really, really unique and special to this industry. There are some other places where that can be accomplished, but that's not usually accessible to anybody just to step into. So the skills that you've had before and that you've applied with success, when you apply them here, are going to have, and I think you're seeing it, that's why you're motivated, are going to have an even more, profound financial impact on your lifestyle because of the nature of how this payment model works.
Yep, and that's another thing that attracted me was the way the compensation model is set up. I mean, it is set up to where if you do get, I refer to it as production, but if you do start getting the production, what I like about it is how that residual model works. And it's fascinating. It really is interesting the way it was set up.
Absolutely. And so these are the kinds of things that we'll work on for your videos, that your emails and your messages will automatically just send people into watching. That will significantly increase the speed at which your prospects reach out to you, ask questions, and feel comfortable enrolling, because they're saying, yeah, they have access to me, but they're also relating to you. And that just makes them feel more supported. Because guys, again, they're getting the emails from you. It's your name at the bottom. Now, some of you, some of you that don't want to do any videos or anything at all, you'd probably be better off putting my name at the bottom and like us putting together an email address that's me. You would probably do better that way, because if you're not willing to incorporate yourself into it at all, and they're seeing your name there, it's like it's putting distance between them and me, and there's no one else. Like, you're just a ghost. And so some of you that are just very afraid to put yourself out there at all, that might be what you want to do, is just literally promote as if you're me, and leverage me 100%. But things are going to move much, much faster, and you make a lot more money if you are willing to incorporate yourself into the process, like we just talked about with Michael. Michael, I'm not seeing any issues whatsoever. Everything's firing on all cylinders. I will say, $10,000 a month by the end of this year is lofty, because of that would mean that you're on track to be at $1 million income in 2 to 3 years. And that's absolutely achievable, but it is exceptional. But I'm not seeing any reason why we shouldn't aim for that. And even if we fall a little short, you're going to be in momentum, and it's not going to be long after that we would hit that. It seems completely conceivable. The only questions are, okay, how much time does it take? Do you really follow through on the prospecting, as we talked about? I'm pretty certain that you will from this conversation, so I'm not concerned about that. And then the only other piece, the only other caveat in hitting that goal is, how much do you have to work through to get used to making the videos and get comfortable there? But even while you're working through that, we'll be making progress. So no concerns. Excellent.
Well, thank you.
Our next step is just to kind of shell out and get more specific about some of the things that we talked about. And we'll work on that. I'm going to connect more with others on more general plans of action, but we'll start having calls where we hone in. Your next step is just to show up, if you can, onto the Sunday call where I go over this new lead source. We'll start there, and then you and I will start working on, it might be a month from now, because I need to get all this rolled out, but then we'll move into testing, Robert Kiyosaki's audience and some other audiences that I'll work on with you.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it. In fact, I'm actually looking forward to tomorrow's call with the MyDailyChoice home office, and you being on that call. And I will be on the call on Sunday.
Awesome.
Right now I just want to be a sponge and try to absorb and take it in as much as I possibly can.
Excellent. I'm excited to work with you. I think you're going to do really, really, really well. So Great work.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it, Mike. I'm really pumped about this. So I'm I'm very excited.
Okay, awesome. All right, so next step, we'll get the new lead source going. We'll get that started, and I'll be working with you there. And then in about a month or so, we'll start testing with a little small ad budget. I'll start helping you test for like Robert Kiyosaki audience and stuff like that, just to see if we can create a niche audience just for you.
Okay.
All right,
And of course, like I told you over on I think part 5, I think, or I can't remember where I put it, but I said I'll be open to any other type of marketing, any type of free marketing you want me to employ. It doesn't matter. I mean, whatever works, we'll do it.
Have you been following at all Aaron Parker or Aaron Rashkin's stuff?
Yes, I have. I have sat in on a couple of their stuff. I even sat in on one that Cardamone did, and they've got a different take on stuff, but all that stuff works because they're very successful.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So I was just gonna say, continue plugging into anything that they put out that is really specific about how to. Like I know Aaron Parker on June 1st of this month did one, and he really went into like the how-to stuff of what he suggests on how to use Facebook Messenger, which is something he's really big on. So just kind of hone in on those, because as we start prospecting your leads, you'll be able to kind of integrate in some of the things that they're teaching to get more out of the leads that you have.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
All right. Looking
All right.
forward to it.
Me too. Thank you
All
so
right.
much, Mike.
Talk to you soon.
You bet.
Okay, really good start for someone who has a really big goal. I'm just thinking here. I think what we'll do is I want to be careful. There's a lot of names I want to go to right now, but I want to be careful, guys, about just speaking to those of you who, have a lot figured out already. And Trish, you do fall in that department, but I think I'm going to connect with Trish. James, you've got a lot figured out, but I'm excited to connect on that. And at the same time, I don't want people that don't have a clue yet and have a real challenge with confidence, because I know there's a lot of people listening. Let me just pause for a minute and speak to those listening right now who are really lacking in the confidence department. Like this, let me just speak candidly here, guys. Give me just a moment here. Those of you who are lacking confidence, like, understand, and you have a hard time believing you can do it. You have a hard time when you hear other people doing it, that you could ever do anything like this. I just want to say that this is an opportunity for you to get so much more than just money. And yeah, the money's important. The lifestyle upgrade is obviously the carrot that motivates you to be here at all, but you need to understand. And if I could just have a candid discussion with you for a moment, your greatest opportunity here, if that's you, which is probably most of you listening right now, your greatest opportunity is you growing as a person, you facing a challenge, maybe for the first time in your life, seeing something through and making that breakthrough. Like, that's the big deal here. And I know that, again, the carrot is the money and lifestyle bump, like, of course, but you really need to get in touch with the personal challenge in front of you and get excited. Like, if I didn't have that, I'd be an absolute loser. Like, and I mean that, when I was in my early 20s, my mindset and everything was I was just shattered. And this industry and entrepreneurialism in and of itself, like, literally saved my life. I didn't come from a family of entrepreneurialism. My family was, don't dream big. And if you have a big dream, keep quiet about it, because it's not going to happen and you're just being ridiculous. I came from that kind of a culture. You could go to college and get a good job, but that was the end of it. And it wasn't very exciting to me. It wasn't very inspiring to me. I didn't really fit into my family culture. I wanted something more, but there were no avenues, no opportunity to discuss, no opportunity to dream, and no support whatsoever in believing that you could do that. So, like, I understand, like, that mentality, that mindset deeply. And I mean, I'll never ever forget like the day that I was making over 100 grand a month, which had been a huge goal of mine. That I kept saying like by next year I'll make 100 grand a month, and of course I didn't have the skills or anything, but and I would just keep kept going, and eventually at the age of 31 or so I had hit that. But the big thing was that first time it happened was tough. But when it really happened, I was about 37 when it really stuck, and it just kept coming in and kept coming in and kept coming in. I remember sitting down with my dad and showing him my bank statements, and it was he was just in shock. And I think he was changed deeply as a person from that day forward. And that was a very rewarding moment for me, to prove that that you can make things happen if you set out for them, because my family was just not believing these kinds of things. So I understand that mindset. And I got to tell you, like, when I look back, even though the lifestyle and the money was the carrot, there's no question that the greatest, most beautiful aspect of all of this is who I got to become, and how I get to serve others, and just the feeling that brings. It's a different world. You become like a different person in many ways. You look at everything differently. It is, if I could just get you in touch with that, and once you understand that piece, you'll be compelled to overcome whatever to get, because the money is motivating, but it's a short-term motivation. Like what's going to see you through is like just getting so, I don't know what it is for you. You're all a little different. For me, I just was pissed off at how weak I was. I just got really pissed off about not being able to do it, and go through my whole life and die being that kind of a person. I just couldn't handle that concept. So no matter how hard it was, like that's what it was for me. That's what drove me, was like, there's no friggin' way I'm gonna give up and get a job and worry about the economy and be limited on money and not have an amazing, life. Like there's just no way, no matter how hard or how impossible it seemed. And when I was building this, early on, we didn't have anything like this. Like you guys are stepping into a warm, cozy, like really, really easy process compared to anything that I had to endure. So there's still stuff, again, if you're lacking the confidence and the belief and stuff, I just want to say, like, it really needs to become you're not going to succeed if it's just the money. Like that's the carrot that gets you going, it gets you here. But in the end, speaking heart to heart, it's not going to happen. You're not going to move through the challenges and grow, which is what I had to do, if you don't get in touch with it in some way. Again, for me, the language might be different for you. For me, it was like, there's just no friggin' way that I'm going to remain that weak. Like I could not do it. I just could not accept that if I set out, if I want to have a special kind of life, that I can't grow into that person. Like that just, whenever I started to want to quit or whatever, like that's what drove me. And I don't know exactly what the language is for you that you're comfortable with, but if it doesn't become a personal thing like that in some way, I don't think you can do it. But you got to dig deep. Like you got to like ask yourself, what kind of person do you want to be at the end of the day? And that's really what it is going to come down to for a lot of you. And like, there's a reason why the majority of people out there are limited by money and are limited in so many ways, and just accept that fate. It's like, I don't think it's the easy way, but a lot of people, they think that's easier. To me, it turned out to me that's much harder. You have to make that determination. I'm going to go to Trish next, even though Trish, I know you have a lot of skills, and I'm concerned about intimidating people, because I want people to understand that no matter who you are and where you're at, and even if you're starting from, the bottom rung of the ladder in terms of confidence and stuff, that you can succeed. But in Trish, that's not you. So again, those listening, I don't want you to be intimidated. but I want to connect with Trish because she does bring something different than Michael that I think will be illuminating and really helpful for others to hear us work through. So I'm going to allow you to talk, Trish. I click, that's what the button says. Go ahead and unmute yourself and say hello. Hi, Trish.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hold on a minute. Okay, can you hear me?
I can. Are you, did you email me also? You did, right?
I did. I
Okay.
just emailed you.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, 1 second. Let me paste these into the group. 1 second, guys. So those that have access to HempWorks email marketing group, I'm pasting these in there. Those who don't, I'll show this on my screen in just a second. Okay. All right. How you doing, Trish?
I'm good.
Good. You're always good, aren't you?
Yep, trying to be.
Okay. Okay. So you, what's your monthly income goal? 10K. A lot of people landing on 10K makes total sense. By what date do you plan to make it? December 2020?
Yep.
So basically the same timeline and goal that Michael had. So
Right.
let's start with the same question. Have you made 120,000 a year before?
Yes, and probably over the last 13 years, probably about 150,000 a year. And
Okay.
then before that, I was in sales, and yeah, I did very well.
Oh, okay, so good. So, you know, again, and for those listening, not that she would need to have, it's just a different conversation. So belief of that kind of income, it's not an issue. There's, Tony Robbins talks about it as a thermometer. We make where we have the thermometer set, or we believe we're worth, basically.
It really is,
Yeah.
because before these last years of making that amount of money, and I did that under a nurse's pay. I was the highest paid nurse in this area. But before that, I didn't have that mindset that I could achieve what I wanted to achieve. Once I did it, it was, yeah, it just came natural after that.
Exactly. Yeah. Once I hit the really big income, it just was my new expectation. So I
Right.
didn't, it's interesting. I stopped thinking about anything that wouldn't produce that kind of income. So you didn't put your energy into that anymore. And you just don't,
Right.
you're like, no, not interested in that. No, not interested in that. I'm like, yeah, I'm interested in that because that's what I see, where I see that I'm at. It's just really
Right.
interesting how that works. But if you just really don't believe it, like no matter how hard you try, you have to kind of move up not everybody does. Some people do make a big leap, but that requires a really strong belief. Okay, so we're good there. Now, have you ever made, I'm assuming you haven't made it residually before, is that correct?
I did for a well, I don't know if it was really residual, probably not. It was when I was in insurance sales. So, you got paid so much up front, and then you would get more on the back end, like 6 months later. So there was everything that you kept selling up front, you were still getting paid on the back end of it 6 months later.
Okay. The reason why I ask, and the reason why that's important, guys, is because, and I want to have this discussion, because I would say that's not quite residual, although it's a step closer, which is helpful in your understanding and your willingness to have delayed gratification. There's something called the employee mindset that a lot of you are familiar with. And to be really clear, a lot of self-employed people have an employee mindset. A lot of people who are self-employed still, even though they own their job, the way they approach it is very much from the employee mindset. They're trading time for money for the most part. There are some differences between the self-employed category and employee. But again, a lot of small business owners approach it very much from an employee mindset. And they never can really gain leverage. They never really gain walk-away income. They can never really have an amazing lifestyle. In fact, a lot of the self-employed people have a much harder lifestyle than employed people because they have their own job and they're working constantly.
They're always chasing.
They're always chasing, exactly.
That's
Exactly.
chase. Yeah.
So
If we wanted to keep that and maintain it, we had to go out and get it.
exactly. And there's no delayed gratification, which is where the big money and the lifestyle comes. So I just want to have that conversation for a moment with you, Trish, and for everybody, that you have to really get in touch here with how valuable it would be to have $10,000 a month coming in, even though you probably wouldn't take 3 months off completely, because when you get there, it's so fulfilling to help others, and there's so much more you can create from there. To have the option and to know that you have the option to take 3 months off or 6 months off and still be making that kind of income, you really want to get in touch with that and how different that is, than having to work a sales job or, an employment and make that kind of money. It's two completely different worlds. And you want to get in touch with that because it takes longer. You're putting more effort into this up front in order to earn that. And if you're not deeply in touch with how valuable and amazing that is, you won't do that, because a lot of us are used to, understandably, that's the employee mindset, we're used to putting in effort and getting an instant payment back, right? And if we don't, we feel like it's not working. We're not seeing that we're building momentum and we're figuring things out and we're getting things in place and we're realizing what doesn't work so we can focus on what does. I talk about the gold vein, right? A lot of you have heard me talk about finding the gold vein, and you're chipping away and you're just getting rock. And you feel like, man, my back hurts. Like, I'm done with this. I haven't gotten any gold. I got a little glitter, but it's not enough to amount for anything. And like after a few months, but you don't realize you were getting really close to it. And once you find it, it's eureka, and you've got it, and everything's starting to click and everything's starting to work. If you don't really get deeply in touch with how amazing it would be to have, whether it's $1,500 a month or $10,000 a month, whatever the goal is, coming in month after month residually, if you're not deeply in touch with how different that is and how rewarding that is and how much freedom that you have and what that would feel like, you're not going to keep chipping away initially when you're not getting the payment yet.
Right.
It's really important. But you're deeply in touch with that, right?
Oh, definitely. My thing is, it's like I've kind of like had both. I know what it is to go to work, of course, for a paycheck by the hour, and then also being on your own to produce your own money and having to work your ass off every single day. It's not upfront and then reward later. It was every single day. Now I'm at the point in my life where, you know what? I want to work my ass off like right now. I don't care if it takes me 5 years to do it, a year to do it. I want the reward of this business long term, 10 years from now, 15 years from now. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah. And then, so you got to be in touch with that, guys. You can hear her conviction and you can hear the level of commitment. Like that's power. And what's amazing and interesting is once you step into that power of decision and commitment, which when I say commitment, I don't mean like, I'm not talking about physical work. I'm talking about like just your attitude and the way you're approaching the whole thing, just mentally and emotionally. When you step into that, everything comes faster. That's what's interesting. Everything comes much, much faster because it's magnetic. You're also just a problem solver, and just everything's different. Instead of things being hard when they don't work out, it's like, I'll try this. Like you just, because you're not fighting with it anymore. It's really, really important. And Trish really embodies that. Okay, so Trisha, next question. So she's already made this kind of money before. She hasn't made it residually, but she's deeply in touch with the difference and willing to work through the delayed gratification. She's got an unstoppable attitude. This is all very reasonable. Again, just like I mentioned with Michael, this is lofty because, again, if you were to hit this goal, it would mean you're on track to beat $1 million a year not too long after because of the nature of progressive growth that this model has. But there are people in the company that have done that. And so I think we should always aim lofty anyway. It absolutely can be done. And we'll zoom in on this. It's completely reasonable. We'll zoom in on it. We'll put an action plan together, and then we'll adjust along the way. That's how it always is. But I'm not seeing any issues whatsoever. So let's lock in on that, Trish. When did you enroll, and what level are you at? February of this year at executive level. What methods have you used so far to drive growth in your weak leg? Facebook Lives, Messenger, face-to-face buying leads. Okay. Now, do you plan, that's probably down to here, do you plan to use the new lead source that I'm using?
Yes.
Okay. Will you be on the call Sunday?
Yes, I will.
Oh, okay. So we'll talk about that in a minute, but let's come back to this here.
Okay.
Very similar to Michael in the sense that, you know, if you're doing $1,000 a month, we'll still want to do more on top of it to hit a goal as lofty as you have.
Yeah, definitely. And be honest with you, the 1,000 a month will probably increase up to about 3,000 a month here in about another month.
Okay, so that being the case, and again, I don't want to scare people who don't have the money to invest, because guys, I want to say again, most of the people who are making the big money in this company don't invest anything. It obviously speeds things up. But if you can't do it, I'm going to be connecting with you guys and putting together an action plan for you. I used to not have any money to invest with. I started where others have to start. I'll tell you exactly what I would be doing. And I assure you, I would be breaking records and accomplishing amazing goals just because of the mindset piece, even if I wasn't investing anything. It's just, it's a more assertive approach. It's a more intense approach if you want to accomplish amazing goals fast, but you still can. And you can also pace yourself. You don't need to be on the millionaire, fast track if that's too intense. You can be on a slower fast track, but still create an amazing life for yourself here, even if you don't have an ad budget. Okay, so back to this Facebook Lives. Can you share with me, I've seen you in some Facebook Lives. Can you share with me the kinds of Facebook Lives you've been doing that you feel, or that have attracted actual pre-enrollees?
Some of my Facebook Lives, I think whenever I'm connecting more, and that's one of the things that I've just now started like really going back on my videos and looking at. When I'm doing more of the Facebook Lives, it has to do with the connection with, and I can tell it in my conviction too, my approach in my live. When I'm doing the connections with talking about the law of attraction, things like that, and piecing it together with the business, I was getting more people asking me questions. So that's probably where I'm going to be focused at, unless talking with you to do something different. So I'm like open.
So there's a couple of things that come to mind. So one is, would you be open to doing a Facebook Live with me somewhere along the lines?
Oh, heck yeah.
So, so that might be, really revealing, right? Like you'll be able to play off of my energy, and that might kind of.
Oh yeah. Play off your energy, because like you're there. And a lot of people who are following me, I have 700 and some people who follow me. I think it's around that much. I can't even remember now. But a lot of people follow me, and just them being able to see what you've done because of your energy level and your belief, that's like my target. That's the people that I love connecting with.
So Trish, remind me, between now and July 1st, remind me in a couple of days by email or Facebook Messenger, and I'll be doing this with all of you who want to, remind me to schedule with you like our first Facebook Live sometime in the first week of July, or
Okay.
anytime around there that works for you. And
Okay.
and then I think and then we'll springboard off of that. Like after that, we'll discuss it. Like what can we do differently? What did we like about it? And based on the feedback and the results, we'll make adjustments and just do another one, schedule another one, and we'll just keep doing that. And I have a feeling that's going to have a big positive impact on your own Facebook Lives too. Just having that extra dynamic.
Having you there, and before I even have that first Facebook Live with you, I will definitely be putting it out to everybody, to all my groups, to everybody.
Yeah. And we'll also email your prospects, your pre-enrollees. Like all of this just brings everything forward. You know what I mean? Like you can feel, almost feel it just talking about it. It just kind of changes the dynamics of everything.
Yes, definitely. I'm
Uh,
excited.
and then Messenger, tell me a little bit about Messenger, Facebook Messenger.
So Messenger, I talk to, you know, in all my posts, I tell people to message me, to private message me, instead of keeping, you know, questions and answers and everything on my Facebook Lives or even my posts. I have people, I just tell them to message me, and then that's where I'll send them my link. Or if I'm connecting with new people, I always get it to Messenger, because once you connect with them in Messenger, then they see you for 2 weeks. So if I'm connecting with people, you know, on Facebook, making contacts, but I don't know them that well, I'm just going back and forth, contact, you know, communicating. I start off on their page commenting, but then after, you know, a few days or a day, whichever, however I feel, I can feel their energy. Then I make connection with them in Messenger. And when I went 5K, that's how I did. I was asking people if they, well, telling people about the opportunity and then asking them if they wanted to see what it was. So that's why I'm wanting to go back to that specific. I just made a post about that or a comment in one of your groups. So that's why I want to go back to again, that first momentum like I had going, and I did all that in Messenger.
Okay.
I was sending out voicemails. I was like, oh, screw it. You know, I'm just going to get this out there. It was messed up. But yeah, people were feeling my energy through Messenger.
So at the end of a Facebook Live, do you already, and if not, do you see the opportunity to basically leave them with contacting you on Facebook Messenger if they're interested?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and I don't know if we want to do that. I have to think about it, or just send them right to enroll. Have you done that before, where you told them if they're interested in this to contact you on Messenger, or are they contacting you about, you know, something more broad, not specific to?
No, it's been specific to the business, you know, for them to contact me. If there's a different way that you think is going to be better, then I'm
Well, we'll play with that. Like we could either have them literally go become a pre-enrollee and then contact you on Messenger. Like we'll think about that. I'll
What, like, are you talking about posting the link? Like,
No, I mean, like at the end of the Facebook Live, like the call to action being, okay, you know, those of you who want to like check out the business, if we decide to, you know, to have that be the call to action, we could say,
yeah,
become a pre-enrollee, and we could give them the link right there, or
yeah,
post it right then for them to see, and then contact you on Messenger.
right.
That
Yeah,
way they got the system starting to work for them, and they're seeing people fall underneath them, and you know they're more engaged now.
yeah, we can play around with it, see which, I'm good either way. We'll try.
And then face to face, that's self-explanatory, and obviously that's always going to be an advantage, because although I guess, is that in your profession? Because nowadays it's pretty hard to see anybody face to face.
Well, I was just down on the island for 2 or 3 days, and I've got a group of people down there that I'm getting ready to. I've been sending them my link through the app, so I've been following up and doing all that, and so I gotta get her connected. The only problem is that she is Spanish dominant. And I sent her the Spanish video, and she knows tons of people down there. I sent her the Spanish video, but to get her connected, that's what I need next. Like, she needs somebody with who speaks fluent Spanish, because I won't be able to help her on some things. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So.
Like,
Remind me of that. I'll ask some upline and see what resources we have.
Yeah. I need help with.
Send me a Facebook message about that, and I'll I'll ask Robert Hollis. I know like Robert, for example, has been building in Hungary and just killing it in Hungary. And I'm curious like how he goes about that, what suggestions he might have for us.
Yes, I need to know because she's got tons of family down in Mexico and then the whole southern part. Man, yeah, I need more
I
information.
mean, you know, if I have to, then maybe we'll hire a translator, you know, and until
Yeah,
she's up and running, like, you know, we'll do whatever it takes.
yeah. Whenever I talk to her, she couldn't understand a whole lot, so she left and she went and got a friend of hers that happened to be in town, and I was able to give him some information, and then she, you know, took the information from him. So it's just hard, but I gotta get her up and going like big time.
Okay, we'll talk about that. And just for those listening, like this is a global business, and it's just absolutely incredible. Like no matter where you're at in life right now, that you literally like a few months from now could be having business growing in many different countries. It's really, really cool. Okay, so how do you plan to build your second leg going forward? If you don't know, I can help you with that. More advertising and leads. So you're going to be there Sunday as we introduce the new lead source that I'm using, and then Facebook. You mean like Facebook Lives and Messenger, right?
Right.
Okay, cool. Okay, awesome. Do you want to use advertising? Yeah, okay, so $1,000 a month, and you said you could even go up from there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you have? Okay, so again, no issues, Trish. I think our next step is uh, doing a Facebook Live together and kind of see how that plays, and then you know maybe even some more of those as we go forward. You're going to start the leads process. You're going to want to follow up with those, obviously, like I
Mm-hmm.
talked about, searching for them, reaching out to them, you know, just to
Right.
maximize them. And then you and I will start doing like Facebook or Facebook streaming lives with Zooms that will email your prospects. We'll do webinars together with your prospects coming in, and that will be really powerful as well.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
we'll just connect every couple of weeks on how are we doing, who's coming in, what's happening, are we moving towards the target, are we looking at that, do we need to make some adjustments, do we need to pick up the pace somewhere, are we right on target. We will just navigate that as we go, but I think this is a fantastic starting point.
Cool.
All right,
Yeah.
awesome, Trish, go ahead.
When I do email you too, I'm also going to put in there not only for the Spanish.
Oh yeah,
um,
remind me of that.
for Pakistan. I've got an affiliate that I just signed up, and she has just been like sending out her link to everybody, getting tons of pre-enrollees, but they are asking her like they don't understand it.
Okay.
So I need some.
Okay. All right. We'll explore that. Remind me of that in the email.
I will.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, you might have a global business here real quick.
I know.
Awesome.
And she's ready to do a Facebook Live with me too. She's like, I don't know what I'm saying or what I'm doing. She goes,
I mean, she can translate, right? Like she speaks both fluently.
a little bit, not very well.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, well, again, Robert Hollis has done this in Hungary, so
Yeah.
I'll connect with him and get some ideas, and we'll follow
Okay.
up on it. All right,
Okay.
cool. All right, talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Okay, this time, let's see somebody who and may let's see where this goes. I really want to connect with somebody who has a much smaller goal. So I'm going to lower hands, but guys, if you can still stay here, please do. But I'm going to, again, guys, I'm going to be really clear. I'm going to do so many of these calls. I'm going to connect with each and every one of you. I'm going to be doing a ridiculous amount of these calls starting Monday, and we'll be doing like one or more a day like this, because this is going to be an ongoing process of development, and you're going to get so many ideas off of seeing what other people are doing. And again, we haven't even scratched the surface. Michael and Trish are very similar actually, but once I connected with Michael and I saw Trish, she's very in a different situation, completely, you know, different experiences, and yet big goals. So I want you guys to see that comparison, but understand, like, as we go deeper and as we connect with different individuals with different goals and completely different circumstances, including those of you who have no money to invest with, you're going to start to see a full picture, that there literally is so many paths. And it's not like the old school, you know, 1980s where you got to invite people to hotel meetings and these awkward, like, you know, exchanges of like, you know, force selling people. Like, it's nothing like that anymore. The technology and the tools, it just completely changes the dynamic. So I want you to, you know, keep connecting on these calls, so that you can see the full scope. And I'm sorry if I'm a little tired. I got up at about 3:30 in the morning. I've been training myself to get up earlier, and I'm, you know, this really speaks to, like, commitment. For me, you know, I'm not a type A personality at all, by nature. You know, I'm really relaxed, like, you know, I can just chill all the time, no problem. But again, I get excited when I have a vision and I see something big that can be accomplished and a big impact it can have on people. I get excited about it, and I will adjust myself and train myself to become who I need to become in order to fulfill it. And that, you know, you don't need to have it at the extent that I do. You don't need to have these big goals in order to, but you still need to tap into it. Like, you still need to tap into that, the power of that. It's a different way of thinking. Literally the opposite of the victim mindset. It's like, I don't care. Like, for example, I just don't naturally, like, I don't stay sharp for 12 hours. I can't work 12 hours like some people yet and stay sharp. But I want to train myself to extend my day, to be able to serve more people. And so I've been getting up like at 3:30 in the morning. And so I'm literally right now, like, this is a weird state, like, whoa, like really, really rummy, as they say. But I'm extending what I'm capable of. And as we go forward, this will become less and less of an issue for me. I did 2 cold therapies today. For those of you who follow Wim Hof and what he teaches, those help me massively keep my mood and elevate my mood. I did 2 breathing sessions, the Wim Hof breathing sessions. Like, I will do things and change my habits in order to become who I need to become to accomplish the goal. And while, again, you may not have as massive of goals as I have, you know, I want 7 figures a month, residual in this company in 3 years. In order to do that, I need to help a lot of people get to 50K affiliate, 100K affiliate, et cetera. And really my goal is even much larger, like $1 million a month. Because there's big things I want to do that requires massive amounts of money. You know, and I won't get into those things right now that really motivate me long-term. So I will shift things around. So anyway, I just want you to understand, like, whatever, if for you making $5,000 a month residual would be life-changing, having it just come in month after month, like, you don't need to be as intense as I am, but you still do need to change things in order to develop that. And that should be something exciting to you, not something you resist. And if it is something you resist, like, you need to really look squarely in the face of that and tackle that, like, or nothing's ever going to change. So, okay, let's connect with somebody who has a lower goal, you know, 1,500 a month in a year, maybe 3,000 a month. If it's a little more than that's fine, but, you know, a little bit different pace, maybe no ad budget or very, very low ad budget, maybe no ad budget. I'm gonna lower hands just to make sure. Go ahead and raise your hand if you fit that. Do it again. I just lowered them. Raise your hand if you fit that description somewhere in there. Okay, I'm gonna connect with. Okay, lots of you coming up, so that's cool. But hold on one sec, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna connect with Tony. Tony, I just hit the button. See if you can unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey, Tony. How you doing? You still there?
Yep, still here.
All right. Okay. So let me pull your goal sheet up. And just real quick, Tony. What is your income goal and the date you want to achieve it by? I'm pulling yours up, but just while I'm doing that.
By the end of the 90 days, I want to be at 5K.
Okay, well, that's pretty lofty, actually, which I think you can absolutely do. But let's postpone this conversation because I want to find somebody that's on a completely different pace. So let's connect another time. If I can do it, I'll do it today. I'll come back to you, but we'll see if I pass out.
That's fine.
Well, I'm not used to I'm on a 12, 13, 14, 15, 16-hour a day. Some rock stars like Elon Musk have no problem with it, but I fade. Okay, so Tony, yeah, we might connect in a little bit. I'm going to lower. Okay, I'm going to go to Rudy. Rudy, you out there? Go ahead and say hello and share what your goal is.
How you doing, Mike?
Doing really good.
Yeah, my goal is right at about 2K here by the end of September. I'm keeping it realistic. My situation was kind of mirrored Michael's situation. I was in the financial services industry for a lot of years. Had pretty good success. I was worked my way from the bottom up to a national marketing director situation. Did a lot of recruiting. Had built up a pretty significant residual situation. As in the financial services, you kind of get a residual build up through the business. Lo and behold, the company president retired, and a big financial insurance company bought the company out. They pretty much changed the promotion ladder, the compensation plan. So there was like 50 national marketing directors that pretty much were forced to find another situation. That was kind of the situation that I was put into. So I kind of went into a friend of mine owns a radio station. I'm still working there part-time. So I went into working radio advertising and
well, let me pause you right there. So the experience you just talked about, when was that? How long ago was that?
as far as the financial services, I started in '93 and that ended in 2002.
And what was the most you made in a year?
It wasn't six figures. It was 60, 70 range.
Okay.
You know, that was pretty comfortable for me because I've through the years I've gotten into real estate. So I've got several rental properties that I have. That's I've got 3 rental properties that I generate income from that. I don't make a whole lot at the radio station right now. And a couple of years ago, I got involved in a kind of a gaming design situation with a couple of buddies of mine that have been in the industry for a long time. And I worked that hard for about 2 years and developed a situation where it's pretty much on cruise control now. They're just, the income situation is not really big there because it hasn't really rolled out yet. They kind of had some problems with the design.
Okay.
team.
Okay. Let me run through these questions that you answered and see where we end up. So, monthly income. One second. Okay, turn your volume a little bit down on your end. I think it's giving feedback on me. I think I'm not sure, but give that a try. My monthly income goal is to achieve $2,000 per month. The date is September 30th. So I just want to speak to this because this is a lot loftier. I'm not saying you can't do it, but this is a lot, and I want everyone to listen carefully who can still hang out here. I know we've been here a while, but if you can hang out here with me, $2,000 a month by September is a lot of money in this model. And the reason why, Rudy, I'm getting feedback, so I'm going to mute you, but I'll unmute you again in a second. Just so I want to make sure everybody hears this. So the reason why that's a lot of money in this model, to make it that quick in 3 months, which absolutely can be done. I made much more than that, obviously. But the reason why that's a lot in this model is because of the progression. So in other words, if you were to get that kind of momentum going, you'd be on track to, I mean, I'm just speaking, you know, obviously there's a lot of variables, but just to put it in perspective, you'd be on track, you know, to $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 range, you know, within like 2 years, which is huge money because it's residual. You're rich, you know, you're super rich. And so I just want people to realize that, you know, some people have been in this company for 2 years and they're just at the $2,000 a month level. But again, it's residual, and they're on track to get to 5,000 a month shortly after that, and then to 10,000 a month because of the progression. Jason Cardamone was at the 25K affiliate level for a really long time, and then boom, went to the 100K affiliate level in just a few months, when he was sitting at the 25K affiliate level for a very long time. Because when you get the momentum going and you get people in place, once they kind of get traction, it starts to become an incredible progression of growth. So I just want to be really clear that it's a pretty lofty goal to make 2K a month within 90 days in this model, because that would mean by the end of this year, let's see, that's October, November, December, the progression would take that, you know, realistically at least to 5K a month, and not that many months after that, you know, it would keep growing to something really sizable. So just something to keep in mind. Completely possible to do, but it's loftier than you may realize in this model because of the progression of growth that would follow if you had that kind of momentum. Rudy, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you now and just make sure. Actually, you have to unmute yourself, but you can now go ahead and unmute yourself. Yeah. Does that make sense, Rudy?
Yeah, it makes sense, Mike. I think, you know, my situation is where I've got I think quite a bit of experience. I've gone through a lot of training, not only through the financial services industry, goal planning, setting, training. So I think it's, I know where you're coming from there. I think my situation initially when I came in, which is, I think was just a little bit after you in December, one of my rental incomes kind of went away. I had some problems with it. So a lot of the money that initially that I was going to target to get you know, good quality leads, targeted leads. I think there's a situation where you can just put stuff out there, but if you're not focusing on targeted leads, it's just kind of throwing things out there. And one thing I really went through a lot of training with, I don't know if you're familiar with Tracy Biller.
The name sounds familiar, but not really familiar.
Or his situation was lead lists, MLM lists with people that have been in network marketing companies that were basically shut down. So it's I've purchased some leads from him with lists that have you know, companies have gone under. So there's a lot of people that are in the industry that have been with companies that are ideal for this situation. They're looking for income. They're looking for another company to grow with. And I think with your system, with you and Robin's system that you put together, I think that's ideal for me in my situation. The other companies that I was with, there was really not a system there. I think that's the case in point with a lot of people in the industry.
Yeah.
They get excited about coming into a business with the potential and creating the residual income, but that's why there's not a lot of the success in the industry, because for whatever reason they don't follow directions. They don't have the right.
Well, yeah, and I'll say also, I'm curious what you think about this. And Rudy, I'm just going to mute you real quick as I respond because of the feedback. But a lot of companies don't like the online marketing methods, and so people are stuck with really archaic systems like, you know, talk to friends and family and, you know, invite them to, you know, whatever. It's like not really built around the times. This company, I don't know if you guys know this, but Josh, before he created his own network marketing company, he created systems, online marketing systems. And so he was able to incorporate that in and just give that for free to the affiliates. And they embrace the online marketing model, which is totally fitting the times. So Rudy, I'm curious what you think about that, but I see that as a major distinguishing aspect of it that I feel like you're kind of speaking to there.
Yeah, can you hear me, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think that's why I think there's a lot of positives with this company and with your situation, your particular team. Again, I don't have the financial resources as some people, but as you've made the point that there's a lot of people that have created success with not, not having the 3, 4, 5,000, 10,000 ad budget. But and I realize that. But what I think my strength is, I definitely have the state of mind. I have the positive attitude. I'm just going to take the baby steps, but I do have the lofty goals. I want the nice home in the gated community. I'm into cars. A couple buddies of mine are into Lamborghinis, Ferraris, that kind of thing. And it's not so much the materialistic things. It's those particular things are the things that drive me. And I'm 59 years old, so I'm not getting younger. But I think there's still a lot of time with this company to generate tremendous amount of income.
Absolutely. Oh, no question about it. Okay, awesome. I just want to read through a few more things that you said here. I enrolled in mid-December, just shortly after you did, and I'm at the builder level. Okay, so I just want to make sure that you know that at the builder level, you're going to be at a disadvantage where, you're earning a lot less, per month on the jumpstart bonuses and things. And I'll unmute you here again in a second. I just want to get your feedback on that. Are you able to get up to executive now that you're ready to run this summer? Because if not, it's just going to put you at a little bit of a disadvantage.
Yeah, that's kind of my goal, getting to executive. Got into the director, and then again I'm at the 40 PV, but it'd be a situation now to get to the 90 PV would be probably a stress situation for me now, until I get this rental income back.
Okay. So yeah, then you should stay there. Absolutely. And then as soon as you can, as soon as you get the momentum going, look at upgrading. Okay.
Yeah,
And you said, my methods to drive growth in the weaker leg have been mostly free stuff, Facebook and YouTube, and buying leads. Just share with me more about the leads. Like, how have you worked the leads so far? Sorry, there was a delay on the mute. Yeah, go ahead.
the lead situation has been, again, tied to the finances. I do have some very, very high quality lead situations that I intend to start getting after, more targeted. It's kind of within my budget, so I'm going to really focus on that and really get after those leads, and utilize the system that you have set in place.
Okay, and I'm going to mute you real quick and just kind of respond. So you mentioned here, I'm planning to buy leads more consistently and start the MLGS lead source. So in your particular situation, you may want to not be an MLGS. It depends. It's a judgment call. We maybe want to talk about this a little bit more later separately. But if you only have if you have $100 to $150 per month, and you're capped at that, and you're not able to do, you're at the builder level because you need to keep your auto ship at 40 BV, then that $30 a month, MLGS is an awesome source for being passive. You're just sending out the leads and you're getting some leverage, and over time your lead count is growing. So people on a very low budget are able to experience the opportunity of, over time, over several months, many months, the list grows really large. And I think mine, it's been about I don't know how many months, 5 months or something, and my list is like 25,000 or something like that, and I'm paying almost nothing, $30 a month. And that's awesome. But and listen carefully, guys, if you want to get to $2,000 a month by the end of September, you're going to have to be very, very proactive. And so you might want to like take all of your resources and get leads that allow you to be more proactive, like that you have phone numbers for example. You might have phone numbers for MLGS, but if you have, like, for example, an MLM list, access to MLM lists of companies that have gone out of business, that might be higher leveraging to use that $30 for, so you can be more proactive. And we can talk in a minute about what I mean by being proactive. But let me know if that makes sense. Go ahead and, are you still there? It looks like you got kicked off. I'm not seeing you, so looks like we lost you. We'll see if he comes back in, because we're heading somewhere there. But he's completely got kicked off the group for some reason. Rudy, if you can hear me, I'm not seeing you. Let me see if I can. Oh, there you are. 1 second. For some reason, I'm not seeing you. Just a second. Huh. Rudy, are you there?
I'm here, Mike.
Okay, I'm not sure. Yeah, you got bumped way to the bottom. Is your audio turned up? I'm getting a lot of feedback, and I think me unmuting you is kind of messing up managing this. So if you're able to turn the volume down as low as it goes and still be able to hear me, I'll turn mine down too.
Is that better?
We'll see if that works. I think so. Yeah, I think that is better. So let me know if that makes sense.
Is that a little bit better?
Yeah, that's better. Does it make sense what I'm saying about being really proactive?
Yeah, it makes sense, Mike. It's I think with the leads the lead sources that I do have that are highly targeted, even though I've got a smaller budget, I think I can make up a lot of lost ground with the higher quality leads, even though the budget is not there, and just really, like you say, being proactive.
Have you done anything with those leads yet so we could kind of talk about results off that leads list, that MLM leads list?
No, not at all. No.
How soon can you test that?
Actually, I was going to get started ordering some leads this coming Monday.
And how many will you get?
I will get 100.
And this is specifically MLM companies that went out of business?
Right. Yeah.
Do you have any idea when they went out of business? Like, could they have gone out of business 5 years ago, or it's definitely like within the last year?
Within the last few months, it's actually a highly targeted Arizona lead list from a company that was Arizona, which is in the Southwest, one of the higher success states per se, as far as people that in the industry that have had great success. So there's a lot of successful people, I think, in those groups.
It sounds like it has a lot of potential. So let me just say this, as far as your action plan goes and hitting this $2,000 a month by the end of September, the results that you get when you get those leads, let's talk and put a really good action plan together so that you're optimizing those leads. So as soon as you get them,
okay,
we'll want to connect on that on one of these calls again, and people following can kind of follow along and learn from that process. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, so I'll wait for you to get them before we just dive right into that part of the discussion, but I want to kind of guide you in how you want to email them, how you want to contact them, and then for you to give me feedback on what's happening back so I can give you suggestions on what to do next depending on what's happening or not happening with those leads, so we can truly thoroughly test them. if those leads are as good as they potentially sound, because you never know until you really work them, but if they're as good as they sound, then this might be all you need to get to this goal. My question to you though is, are you open to doing calls with me to with your leads?
Sure, sure. Yeah,
Well,
whatever
I
it
mean,
takes.
when I say calls, I mean, I still refer to conference calls. I remember like webinars or Zoom or something with me.
Right. Sure, yeah.
Because that's going
Um,
to speed things up, and we kind of need to speed things up to hit hit this income level that fast. Because again, if you hit 2K a month in 3 months, that means you've got a lot of momentum, and you're going to make a lot of money by the end of the year. So it's actually pretty lofty because that's in 90 days. So we'll need to be proactive. Now, if that leads list isn't working, to hit that goal, we're going to need to put another plan together. But I think right now we need to test those. And if you want to hit this goal, you need to test that lead source like immediately, right? Like, so as soon as you can, and you've got them coming. So let's get on that next. And depending on the results, we'll know if we're on target for this, if we need to push this out and find another lead source or find another plan. But based on what you're telling me, I think it's a fantastic plan of action. We'll just want to be really, really assertive about testing out that lead source as fast as possible so we can see if we're on target for the 90-day goal.
Sounds good. And I do have some alternate lead situations that I can look into. That's just one of them.
Okay. I mean, it doesn't matter which one. We just need to test one and see, so I can see, okay, is this going to work? You know what I mean? And if not, then we need to get another one.
Sure.
All right. Awesome, man. Let me know as soon as you have them, and stay close. Keep in touch. We're doing so many of these calls, so just make sure you're on a lot of them, and so I can help you gauge quickly. If we're going to hit that goal, we need to constantly be in communication on what's happening, so I can give you feedback. Okay, awesome. Okay, all right. We went 2 hours. This was my first, run with this. We didn't actually run into anybody who is being ridiculous. And I mean that lovingly, but I expected more of you to be ridiculous because that would be helpful to more, a lot of you probably, and it's probably the same people that are maybe less apt to raise their hand. A lot of people have really unrealistic goals. We haven't really seen that yet today. I want to encourage it actually. I don't want you to actually create an unrealistic goal just to have this conversation. But those of you who feel like, let me just describe it this way. You don't feel 100% confident that you can do it. Even if it's a small goal, you don't see how it's going to work. Like everyone I spoke to today totally sees how it's going to work, which is awesome. And we want to have those conversations too. But I do also want to have conversations with those of you who you have a plan, you know what you want to make, you've shared with me when you want to make it, and you've got some vague ideas, but you're really having a hard time believing it's going to work because of past challenges, or you just don't really see how it's going to work, but you really want it to. I want to work with that too, because I think that conversation's going to remove some blocks and some misconceptions and get things lined up so that the action plan and the goals are more in sync. Today, the action plans and the goals are pretty in sync so far. But I expect there's a lot of you who have ones that aren't. And so I'm looking forward to those too. I'm going to go ahead and close this out just because I've had such a long day. But let me just say this. We're going to do these a lot. The next time we do, it's going to be Monday. I don't know what time yet. I need to think about that, but I'll share tomorrow what time it will be, and I'll send the link, and we're going to set it up a little differently. I'm going to know who I'm speaking to beforehand, and I'm going to have you as a panelist, and then everyone, and then those I invite in will know who I'm speaking to and what their goals are and everything. So you can go, okay, I really want to hear what Mike does with that one and how that, I want to follow that one. And then we're going to do a lot of these. We'll probably have another one almost every day of the week next week, because I want to connect with all of you. And we'll probably start having several in a day. So we could really start to pick up the pace. what's kind of start to happen is we will have touched upon so many that even those of you I didn't connect with, it's going to be very similar in terms of goal, timeline, methodology. But I really want to set this up where I can connect with all of you. So stay close, pay close attention. And let me just end with this. There is no question. Like if you have any question, like I'm telling you, man, it is just a misconception of belief. There is no question that with this system and this company and where it's at and what it's already accomplished and the expertise that you have around you, not just me, but with Robert Hollis, who's a millionaire in this company, with Aaron Parker, who's, if he's not already a 7-figure earner, he's close to it, Jason Cardamone, who's doing a 100K affiliate, Aaron Rashkin, who's doing phenomenally well. And in addition to that, each of these people that I just named are highly skilled in different areas. Like it is absolutely unprecedented to have all of this come into one place. That's just a fact. And so if there's any hangups or any doubt or at all, you got to understand that's inside of you. There's literally no reason that a person shouldn't be able to look at what's happening here if there aren't a lot of hangups and realize that they can become wildly successful. So, I mean, you know, I can only do so much, right? I can't force people to believe in themselves and believe in the model when there's thousands and thousands of success stories in this industry. Like at some point you have to like be able to figure it out. But I encourage and implore you, if there's any doubt at all, like take a serious, sober look at what's going on and the success stories in the company and in the industry, and just realize it's a belief. Get some success books. I encourage you all to get Think and Grow Rich if you've never read it. If you have read it and it spoke to you, start reading it again. Take the success philosophy seriously, and you will be wildly successful here as long as you adhere to what we talked about, which is the success principle of being clear on what you want to accomplish in terms of the rank you want to achieve. And we didn't talk about that yet, but we'll get into that as we do more of these. The income goal that you have, the timeline that you have, and the action plan, and then be flexible as we navigate. You know, but not flexible in hitting the goal. And then if you start to see you won't hit that goal because you need to make some adjustments, make those adjustments, you adjust the goal, and you're going to hit an amazing, extraordinary life with this company system and support. It's just a fact if you allow it to be. So I'll keep doing this. The next one will be Monday. Don't forget to let your prospects know, your pre-enrollees know about tomorrow's virtual tour. I'll be on there. We'll capture that as a replay and use it in our marketing as well. So look forward to that. And Sunday, again, those of you in level 2 and level 3, I'll be talking about the lead source that we've been testing since May that I'll be using to get to 100K affiliate, that I'll be sharing with those of you in level 2 and level 3 at cost, making it really easy for you. And then we'll just keep following those that I worked with today and connecting and working with more of you. Again, the next one will be Monday, and I'll start doing a lot of these even in a day to make sure I can keep connecting with you guys. I hope you all received tremendous value through this process, and I look forward to connecting with each and every one of you as we go forward. All right, guys, I'm gonna go to bed. I'll see you guys soon. Have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll talk to you later.